You know those moments where you walk into a situation and within about 5 seconds you realise something is very, very wrong? Well, this guy had one of those. He'd just come back from being away over Christmas, just visiting family for a few days. But on the way home, he decided to swing by his workplace and pick up his cat. He worked at a vet clinic, so boarding his cat there was normal. Free too, one of the few perks of the job. Anyway, it's late, the place is closed, lights are off. He lets himself in and walks through to the kennel area, already thinking about how his cat's probably annoyed at him. And then he gets to the cage and just stops, because nothing looks right. The blankets are the same ones he left, bright and easy to recognise, except now they're damp and stained. There's dried mess in places there absolutely shouldn't be, and the smell hits him immediately. 6 days. 6 days of build-up, and his cat is just sitting there in it, dressed and uncomfortable. That kind of quiet scenario that tells you that this hasn't been a one-off. And in that moment, he doesn't do anything. He just grabs his cat and goes home. But he's furious, because this wasn't some random boarding facility. These were his co-workers. So the situation leading into this was actually pretty simple. He works as a vet tech, which also meant spending a fair bit of time in the kennel, cleaning, feeding, general care. Not glamorous, but very important. There were 2 people mainly responsible for the kennel while he was away. One was a newer attendant, not that great at the job. The other was the kennel lead, older and supposed to be overseeing everything. So between the 2 of them, things should have been fine. And that's why he didn't think twice about leaving his cat there. Before he'd left, he'd set everything up properly. Fresh bedding, a little covered space because his cat was shy, food organised, litter box sorted. It wasn't complicated. And up until that point, he'd been the one constantly cleaning and maintaining standards anyway. So in his mind, even if things slipped slightly, it wouldn't be anything serious. That's usually how people justify trust. It's not that they think everything will be perfect. They just assume it won't be that bad. So the next day at work is where things start to shift. He comes in and the attendant, the one who was supposed to be doing most of the daily care, is there. He doesn't say anything to her, not because he's calm, but because he knows he isn't. He works through the day, avoids her, keeps his distance. But eventually he tells the manager what happened. Keeps it simple at first. Just the condition of the cage, the state of the cat, nothing else. The manager agrees that it's completely unacceptable. Says he'll talk to her. And when he does, she denies everything. Says she cleaned the cage daily. Says the cat must have just been messy. Basically implies that he's exaggerating. And that's the moment things change. Because now it's not just negligence, it's denial. That's someone trying to protect themselves from consequences. So the manager comes back and tells him what she said. But instead of escalating emotionally, he just changes his approach. He starts paying attention, like really paying attention. The next shift, he's alone at the kennel, and he just goes through everything. Every cage, every record, every detail. And what he finds isn't one mistake, it's a pattern. Dirty enclosures that clearly haven't been cleaned properly in days. Medication errors, animals getting wrong treatments, waste left in shared areas where it shouldn't be. So it's not just bad, it's dangerous. And suddenly, this isn't just about his cat anymore. A meeting takes place where everything comes together. The manager brings in all 4 of them, him, the attendant, the lead, and himself, sits them down, and starts gently. He gives her a chance to explain, a chance to admit something, anything. But she sticks to her story, says she did everything right, says the cat must have made the mess itself, says there's nothing to own up to. And he lets her talk, doesn't interrupt, just waits, because he already knows where this is going. This is one of those situations where people don't realise the hole they're digging until it's too late to get out of it. So, once she's fully committed to the lie, that's when the manager shifts, pulls out something he documented, and they go through it, slowly, one issue at a time. Each one explained, each one tied back to her responsibility, each one impossible to argue with. And the room changes. You can feel it. The lead tries to step in at one point, blame the workload, says it was a busy period, but that doesn't hold up either. Because the standard wasn't perfection, it's basic care. And this was nowhere near it. By the time they're halfway through the list, she's already breaking. By the end of it, 6 formal write-ups. 3 would have been enough. She's given a choice: quit or be fired. And she chooses to quit. At that point, you'd think that's the end of it, but it isn't. Because there's something else he knew. Something she probably didn't expect to come back on her. She's been building a little side business, quietly offering pet sitting services to clients from the clinic, charging less and keeping it under the table. Absolutely against policy. But more importantly, this was built entirely on trust. And trust is fragile when it's tied to animals, especially our pets. So, after she leaves, clients start asking where she went. And the clinic doesn't lie. They explain why she's no longer there, what was found and what happened. And one by one, those clients pull away from her. That kind of reputation doesn't recover easily, especially in that kind of work. And within a few months, what she'd spent time building just disappeared. Because it was never really about one mistake. It's about what that mistake reveals. The part that stands out for me in this isn't even the revenge. It's how controlled it was. He could have exploded, he could have made a scene, could have turned it into something emotional and messy. But he didn't. He let it play out, step by step. Let her make the decisions that led to the outcome. And honestly, when it comes to people trusting you with something they care about, there's not much room for second chances. That kind of responsibility is simple. You either take it seriously, or eventually it catches up with you. So, was this justified? Or did he take it further than he needed to? That was sweet revenge. It always comes back around.